Politics is not always easy, and in India particularly. As Telangana goes for its elections, November 30th is the D Day, we try to understand the complexities which the political parties face. With me here is the Hindu political editor Ravikanth Reddy. Ravi, welcome to Business Line Chat.
Thank you, Richa.
You have been covering elections for these many years. It's not the first election which you are tracking. When you hear the policies and strategies which the governments are announcing, the various parties are announcing, government would be a wrong term to use. What is your take? How much do they work at ground?
Every strategy of all the political parties is a vote catcher, basically. They tend to appeal to the voters to vote for us based on some reasons, and I think these schemes are those reasons through which they try to attract. Because governance is, I don't think it's major reason for people to vote for any party. Maybe a small portion of voters actually vote for any party based on the governance. It's a combination of a lot of other political factors, the local issues, the candidates, and schemes actually supplement them. For example, when Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao introduced the Raitu Bandhu scheme just before 2018 elections, so that was a major game changer. But it doesn't mean that only Raitu Bandhu got him seats. If you look at the Hyderabad city, BRS won a lot of seats even in Hyderabad where there are no Raitu Bandhu beneficiaries or even the pension beneficiaries. So there are a lot of factors that actually drive a voter to go to the polling station. I think schemes actually supplement, and any major scheme, whether it's pensions or farmers incentives for farmers, or some incentives for youngsters, jobs, the promises made to various sections, actually bring them to the generate some kind of interest in the election process. But when a person walks into a booth and try to cast his vote, I think there are a lot of factors that actually make him to think to vote for a particular party. The local candidate also matters. The chief ministerial candidate also matters. The ruling party matters. The opposition party matters. The local situation is also one of the reasons. Caste is obviously, even in Telangana, caste is becoming one of the primary reasons for voting, though it is not a major reason like North India. So in Telangana, I would say incentives schemes only supplement the governance and other factors. This time in Telangana, the other party which is in the contention for the governance is the Congress, which has promised 6 schemes if it is elected, which includes a lot of welfare schemes covering every section. The free bus rides for women, the farmers will get Raitu Bharosa scheme. And apart from farmers, people who work in the fields, who don't own lands but are in the agriculture sector, they have also been promised some kind of monetary benefit. So these schemes, definitely are going to play on the minds of people. And BJP, on the other hand, has raked up a social issue that a backward class candidate will be the next chief minister of Telangana if the BJP is voted to power. So definitely, when the caste aspirations are increasing and people are increasingly identifying themselves with caste groups, this will also be a major player. Though the decision has come a bit late, but it certainly will swing, maybe 1 or 2% votes in favor of BJP.
I'm glad you mentioned Raitu Bandhu as one of the game changers in the previous elections. But your gut feeling, what according to you will be the game changer, or which policy or strategy of which of the parties you think could be the most sought after in this election?
Well, as of now, I think the voter is still confused whether to give a third term to Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao or give a chance to Congress, which claims or which has been harping on the fact that they have delivered Telangana, a 60-year-old dream of the people. I think the voters are still confused, and the governance, obviously, after 9 years of ruling, the BRS is facing some kind of anti-incumbency in terms of candidates, because Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao has decided to repeat almost all the candidates out of 119. He has decided to repeat 105 candidates. So will that actually is going to harm Mr. KCR? looks like, going by the poll campaign, where a lot of people are expressing their anger against the local MLA, who has been there, and majority of these 105 are second term MLAs. They were first elected in 2014, a majority of these. So obviously there would be some kind of an anti-incumbency which is reflecting on the ground, and we have to see. But there are still another 15 days to go for polling, and elections are always dynamic, so lots of things change. You need some kind of a small trigger which can actually lead into a major issue, like the Kaleshwaram issue, the Medigadda barrage caving in, a few pillars caving in. That became a big issue. I mean, in the minds of people, Congress could plant that this scheme or this Kaleshwaram project as did not take off as it should have been, did not help, and there was a lot of corruption. So people are started talking about it. So you never know, in an election, small issues can trigger, and it lead to bigger debates, and anything can change. But I see one big factor in favor of BRS is that Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao is a person who can connect well with people, and he still has 40 more meetings to go before the elections. So that means he's going to have public meeting in 40 constituencies, and that you never know. I mean, he has the ability to connect to the people, so that will really help BRS if there is an anti-incumbency, strong anti-incumbency at the ground level in the rural areas. That he might shed a few kilos of that anti-incumbency. Uh, and on the other hand, in the urban areas, his son, Mr. K.T. Ramarao, has been a very positive face for the party. And unfortunately, Congress and BJP don't have a face matching to Mr. KTR in terms of giving some kind of hope to the people that Hyderabad would be developed, or Hyderabad would see a phenomenal growth, even if other parties come, the Congress or BJP. One person may not change the entire governance, but definitely these few things carry a lot of positivity when a voter walks in. So Congress perhaps uh, lacks a certain urban sophisticated face within the party, whereas its chief Mr. Ravikanth Reddy is a popular man in the rural and semi-urban areas. He can, just like Mr. KCR, he can connect with people in the local Telangana dialect, and he can make them listen to him. And he has been doing quite well and drawing good crowds in the rural areas. But the biggest game changer, I think, this would be in the urban areas, where around we have 30 to 35 constituencies, and whoever wins there is going to form the government.
I'm glad you mentioned the differentiators between urban areas and rural areas, because my next question was coming to that point only. That, the policies which could attract a voter in the rural areas could be very different from what would attract a urban voter. Economically, there is a perception that the state has done well. There has been incentives which the government has offered. We have seen projects coming into the state, and the growth has been vast. But it has also created a difference between Hyderabad and the rest. So, how do you see this panning out in this election?
Government has been claiming that the per capita income of Telangana is, which was 1.16 lakhs at the time of formation of the state, has now grown into 3.17 lakhs. And if you look at it, if you take the per capita income of only Hyderabad city as such, it is more than 6 lakhs. So, the contribution of Hyderabad has been huge in the state's economic growth, and uh, perception wise, BRS has gained a lot of positivity in that, because of new bridges coming in, a lot of IT companies coming in, and the infrastructure, a lot of money pumped into infrastructure. I think so. The voter, when he walks into that, he'll look at a lot of these things. An urban voter may not depend on Raitu Bandhu or the pensions. Though slums within Hyderabad city might look those issues as such, but The urban voter, semi or educated voter, would like to see how Hyderabad has changed, and that's what the BRS is selling to the people. Look at Hyderabad, how it was in 2014, and how it has changed, irrespective of the fact that any city grows. But they always argue that unless you have a good leader, that doesn't reflect in the growth. You need to have a good leader to take that growth to some at a different level. The city might grow, but if you want to grow at a very different level, catching on with the best cities in the world or best cities in the country, you need a good leader, and that's what BRS has been focusing on. And I feel, somewhat they have been quite successful in that, selling the dream of Hyderabad to the youngsters in Hyderabad. But the biggest problem would be again is anti-incumbency factor in terms of education, particularly the youngsters whose aspirations were very huge, very high because the chief minister himself, created those aspirations, and somehow the lack of filling the jobs, lack of employment opportunities as these youngsters desired, and will be some problem, will pose some problems to the BRS. And apart from that, the leakage of Telangana, the recruitment exams of the government conducted by the Telangana State Public Service Commission have been a big dampener, for this government. And I think that if, in the urban and semi-urban areas, the 17 to 30 age group looks like it is a bit annoyed with this government, and they might vote against this. That's what the situation looks like. But when you ask about urban, how the urban voter would see in terms of schemes, I think schemes will be secondary. They'll be first looking at the governance, a government which can actually give them some hope. So whether they see that hope in BRS, Congress, and BJP, which is better among these three, will be a factor when they walk into that polling booth. Mm, and other issues will definitely play up. I mean, the anti-incumbency will also be of some factor uh, in urban areas as well, because any government cannot match up to the expectations of the people. The infrastructure created, then there was infrastructure collapse as well. When it rained, we could see the collapse of the systems, and I think these. An urban voter may walk into the polling booth more than the schemes, but I think he will go with a lot of hope, or vote for a party which gives him a hope for the next 5 years rather than the schemes what they have done in the last 5 years.
So, Ravi, on a lighter or a more serious note, I would like to know, and this is a perception I have also been carrying, and some of us who have been up north quite a while, that liquor plays a very, very vital role in elections here. And many places it's the money which changes the bag, but normal perception is that here and for that matter in Andhra Pradesh, liquor plays a very, very important role. What is your take on it?
Well, liquor, I think it's a part of elections now, and or rather, I would say it's a part of election campaign. More of such people spend a lot of money, candidates spend a lot of money on liquor. But I don't think liquor alone will force a voter or attract a voter to a voting booth or a political party or a candidate. As I said, a lot of other factors actually help him. So liquor is something which helps in the whole campaign and all those areas. But I think money is going to play, because the kind of money distribution we have been seeing in Telangana elections, particularly after 2014. I think one of the costliest elections in the entire country, or rather in the world, we have seen were the Huzurabad elections and the Munugodu bypolls, where the government coffers it spent hundreds of crores. Apart from that, party itself spent hundreds of crores. The candidates spent. So it was mind-boggling the kind of money we had seen. It was mind-boggling. So money more than liquor, I think money would play some part, because it's not just distribution of money. people are forced to take oath or take a vow on someone, their goddess or children or someone that for taking money, then you have to vote. So obviously there are a lot of sentiments attached to such things. Um so I think more than liquor, money will play some kind of part in the winning or losing. Liquor will help in the poll campaign, during the poll campaign, but not exactly on the polling day. When the voter casts his vote in the polling booth, I don't think he'll be thinking of liquor, but he'll be definitely thinking of as I said, a lot of other schemes that influence him over the last 2 months and over the last 5 years, about the governance, what kind of benefits he has got, or the state has got, or his community has got, which is actually increasing. People are thinking about their own community now. So a lot of these factors play. So liquor, I think on the voting day, it will bring people to the
The
voting
booth.
booth, but I don't think that will influence them to vote for a particular candidate.
So the sum and substance is that public sab janti hai. You cannot fool them for long. The voter knows what he or she wants, and the political parties can use any kind of strategies, or they can. You cannot give them chocolates to buy vote, is what we mean. So thank you so much, Ravi, for sharing these thoughts with us and with the Business Line team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richa, for inviting me and having me on your show.